Hi Leo, welcome to your November reading. This is different from your Halloween reading. That's going to be more about your archetype and how the new costume looks for the year coming up. This really is your new moon solar eclipse reading, and then we have another eclipse on the 8th. And things ramp up as they always do in Scorpio season very quickly. So I feel like this needs to be out there before we get into the fanfare that is Halloween and all the fun of dressing up and really taking a deeper look at that archetype that you embody all year round. So right now, take a deep breath and let's talk about, okay, that's a lot. Let's talk about November. So, right off the bat here, it's about love. It's about walking away. It's about being stuck in an untenable situation that is of your own making. It's about secrets. It's about secrets that make you have to walk away from things. It's about secrets that affect more than just you. They start to affect your view on entire institutions. Whether that's family, marriage, children, all of the above. And the questions that you end up asking yourself about these institutions at this time, funnily enough, may lead you in a completely different direction than the one you've been walking in for a really long time. What do I mean by that? I mean that you are notorious for having a picture in your head and working backwards and kind of having the world, your body, your style, everything align according to that picture. So what happens when the template that you're basing things off of changes? How do you, because that's how you work. That's where you operate from, is those images, is those templates, is that vibe. You work backwards from it. So what happens when the meaning of those templates starts to change, and maybe not with your permission? What do we do then? How do we adjust ourselves when the new definitions of these institutions are not to our liking? When we feel persecuted by them, judged by them? When they, in some very real way, hurt us, the reality hurts us so much more because the fantasy that we want to live in is so grandiose. It's one thing to come back down to reality when your dreams have been moderate. It's another thing to dream the impossible dream and get it, and then not be able to either hold on to it or keep believing in it. And I think that's what really comes down to. It's about your faith and belief in certain institutions. Again, whether that's schooling, certain work situation, or a business environment. Maybe you have a business that you know needs to close, but you can't bring yourself to accept that defeat. There's a lot of focus here on running this way, trying that, doing this, instead of really dealing with what's actually causing the stagnancy. What's actually causing that lack of rise that you're looking for. There's wild attempts here in every direction, except the one where you look in the mirror. Which is ironic because you're a Leo. So you look in the mirror a lot. That makes it worse. It makes it worse when the person who looks in the mirror a lot can't see themselves. Not truly see themselves. Now, new moon solar eclipse, happy Scorpio season. This is it, especially if you have Scorpio placements. This is it. This is when that laser-like focus that you're trying to put everywhere else, it zeroes in on you. And when it does, that thing happens to you. You know how you are. When you learn something, there's no going back. Like if you find a product that works, or if you find a food that you can eat that doesn't affect you in any way and you can just eat as much as you want. Like whenever you find something that fits with you, that works for you, that you see the merit in, then you can benefit from, you absorb it, you integrate it pretty easily, spectacularly, and you keep it moving. Now that's a great thing. But if someone is on the wrong side of that realization, they can't believe the swiftness with which you can turn a situation around and get the fuck out. But for some reason right now, there is this fear that has gripped you. And the one thing that comes to mind, and I can't shake it, is the image of Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie, The Witches of Eastwick. How appropriate, huh? She's really, really, really afraid of physical pain. She just doesn't understand it. She's a soft-spoken, really beautiful, soft woman. And she's got all these kids. But she just doesn't like and is really afraid of physical pain. So of course, you know, when the devil turns on them, that's what he uses. One second. Hi.
Can you take for your family?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much.
Great. Have a good day.
You too. Sorry about that. So, of course, when the devil starts to do his thing, when they won't listen to him, what does he hit her with? Pain. Pain. You are so afraid right now of the pain of either starting over at a new job, starting over with a new persona, starting over in a new relationship, starting over single, starting over a new, dropping your major, changing education, whatever it is. It's big. But it's not as big as your fear. Your fear is like consuming. It's all this stuff that's pretty manageable if you would just focus. But then it's like this Three of Swords, just like weighing down the whole reading. Like everything around it is manageable, Leo, but your fear of the unknown, it's enormous. It's without limit. That's the thing about the fear of the unknown. There's no end. It just goes on forever. It goes on as big as your imagination can take it. But if you were to truly sit down and look at whatever in your life right now is calling you to make this big decision, the first thing that you must eliminate as any sort of a prompt or any, caveat to this decision, the first thing you need to eliminate is this need to blame somebody else out there, is the need to kind of spread this around and share the blame. No, this is about accountability. Saturn has gone direct. You know what happened. You know what's happening. You know what you did. And most probably you went against your instincts to do it. It's okay. The cats have great instincts. So whenever you see a cat, going through it, it's because they didn't listen to their instincts most of the time. You get some little feeling like, don't do this. So now that Saturn has gone direct, now we're on the eve of this new moon solar eclipse, you know that all this doesn't work. And the information that's going to be coming into you as well. My God, so much, such an overflow. So much. But when you sift through all of it and you get down to what it is that you really need, what you really want, regardless if it was anyone else getting in the way, you getting in the way, it doesn't matter anymore. When you focus on what it is that you actually need to be focusing on, being a mature, responsible person, then you realize that the way to win is to get out. But I invested so much. Okay. So you want to go down with the ship or what? You want to, keep polishing the brass in the Titanic, as Tyler Durden says, until you go down with it? Does that make you feel better about your investment? The investment's sinking, bro. What's more important, the investment or you? What's more important? The time invested or you? Now, some of you Leos are so tricked out by this concept that you're like, my investment is what I'm loyal to because it's a part of me. It doesn't seem to be a part of you anymore. It seems like a bad investment, which is something you're allowed to do. You're allowed to make mistakes. That's the subtext of this entire reading, is you coming to terms with the fact that you're allowed to make a mistake. You're allowed to make many mistakes, but continuing to propagate those mistakes and put them off, put the blame either in your head or out loud on anyone else is a mistake. You're adding mistakes to mistakes now. Well, how do I get out? I feel piled under these mistakes. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. And if you look back on all those mistakes, you'll realize that the core truth of every one of those missteps is you not being loyal to you, you not being true to you, you not being beholden to your instincts. When you don't put yourself first, nobody wins. You know that. And of course, because the world taunts you and drags you for putting yourself first, sometimes you do get it in your head, this delusion that maybe if you put other people first, maybe people will like you better. Leo, they don't dislike you because you put yourself first. They dislike you because you're a fucking Leo. And they wish they were you. Helping them, putting them before yourself, none of this shit works because that's not what they're really upset about. They're not upset because they want some of your light. They're upset because they don't understand why you fucking have it and they don't. Giving them a piece of it, helping them out, you think that makes them feel better. All it does is make them feel fucking worse. Because for a little while, they get a little taste of what it's like to be the fucking sun. And then they're back. And then they're back to not being the sun. And you think somehow this is going to make them love you. You think Matrix 3 Revolutions taking them up above the scorched sky and showing them the blue sunny sky for a second before they drop back down into their miserable infinite existence, you think that's going to make them happy? You think it's going to make them happy when they think of that moment up there in the sky and they think about how you live up there? You think that's going to make them think fond things about you? No, I want to know. No, I'm actually serious. This is not a rhetorical question. Excuse me, I'm drinking lattes and smoking. Because the Leo reading, ever since I found out that I'm a Vedic Leo moon, I just, I feel at home here. Do you honestly think that? Because that's the only time that I can ever think that you don't put yourselves first, is when you have some delusional sense that you need to put other people first because that'll make them like you more. That'll make them think that, or maybe they'll finally see that I'm actually such a good person. It's not that they don't know you're a good person. You think they don't know you're a good person? They take advantage of your fucking generosity left and right. Of course they know you're a good person. But maybe they'll actually value me for being, well, that's a hop, skip, and a jump, isn't it? I thought you just wanted to be seen. No. You want to be appreciated? You think anyone's going to appreciate you for anything you do when they know you're living up there above the scorched sky? In the blue, sunny skies? Think about it. They don't have the capacity to appreciate you, is what I'm trying to tell you. They couldn't if they wanted to, because your situation is so extreme in its difference and its contrast from their life. And so you know this, and you hold this heavy in your heart because you are a compassionate person, because you are so generous, because you want to love people and you want people to feel that light. So you hold this knowing heavy that they don't live like the sun, like you do. And it makes you go out of your way to give, to be like them, right? Okay, so sorry about that. So you hold this realization heavy. You do. You do, because you're a good person, and it does make you sad to a certain extent. It does bring up a lot of whys. You know, why can't people have this thing that I just have and I've always had? And you all know it. And I know it's a little uncomfortable for me to be speaking so openly about it, because it's like, damn, girl, like, can you not? But it's true. And the only reason I'm calling you out or putting it out there is because look at what it makes you do. Look at what you end up doing because of it. Look how it weakens you to feel, in some sense, guilty for being, again, the sun. Everything in our universe, everything in our lives, everything that we eat, everything that we are, everything is ruled by the light of the sun, by the presence of the sun, by the gravity of the sun. If the sun were not as great as it is, we couldn't exist. Our existence depends on the greatness of the sun. And you want these bitches to appreciate you? Just think about my logic here. Just think for a second from this perspective. You go out of your way to put other people in front of you because you're so aware of your light, and it makes you feel so guilty that you feel like if you put people in front of you in line, that somehow this will make up for it and you'll be like everybody else. Delusion number one. You'll be like everybody else? Really? Really? You think that? You actually think that? That you can be like everybody else? Because you know you can't. Again, you hide it so long from other people that sometimes you forget it yourself. You could put the whole world in line in front of yourself. You're going to be all the way back there at the end of the line, shining bright like the sun. And you know what everyone's going to do in that line? They're going to turn around. They're going to turn around, and all of a sudden you're going to be in the front of the line again. Then what are you going to do? Stop running from your birthright. Stop running from your fate. Stop feeling guilty for being born what you are. Snap out of it. Okay, so you're like, all right. So I don't want people to like me anymore. No, but I really do. But I don't. Okay, fine, Umber, you're right. I don't. I'll lead. I'll get to the front. And even though I can't see anyone behind me, I'm going to assume that they're doing well because I'm putting myself first. This is what you want me to think? Yes. Yes. When you shine, we all benefit. I don't mind reminding you over and over again. It's kind of my job. Yes, it can feel counterintuitive when you don't see anyone else doing it. That's okay. Not everybody is the sun. Some of us are the moon. Hello. And we all have our special light and our special place. And, you know, we're all here to do what we're all here to do. Now, Cancer rising, me, that's the moon. The moon shines a different kind of light. The moon is secretive. It keeps its secrets, and it gives its secrets away sometimes in a very chaotic way. It moves the tides. It's moody. It's truth, but it's cloaked in shadows and darkness. It brings out that which we want to hide. But you're the thing we look forward to every morning. You're that constant goodness and brightness that gives us a little bit of reassurance and stability in an experience that is anything but stable. Your light is, for the most part, unchanging. And when you decide, for whatever reason, to give someone else that spot, well, they can never fill your shoes, first of all. They end up feeling bad. You end up feeling bad. You're not in your natural state. They don't even know how they got on this seat. They don't know what to do with it. It's burning them alive. And things progress downhill from there. So what if we weren't in the hangman energy? What if you weren't all tied up in what you think it should be and who you think deserves what. What does it actually look like to put yourself first in relation to these cards? Obviously, you've tried every other way except asking yourself the very simple question of, is this enough? Do you actually want this? Do you want more? And if the answer to that question is yes, stop trying to justify that yes. It's just a yes. And if it becomes a matter of loyalty, then again, I ask you, who are you more loyal to, others or yourself? And where does the problem spring from? Where does the problem arise when you're not loyal to yourself? Be loyal to others, but not at the expense of your loyalty to yourself. That's what I'm saying. And whatever institution it is, whatever very serious part of your life this new moon solar eclipse affects, see yourself as the victor, whatever the outcome. That's the key. Yes, the pain is there. Yes, the realizations are there. Yes, there's a certain level of embarrassment. No, you never want to be the one that has to admit that you fucked up. That's just how you guys are. You don't like making mistakes. You know, like Virgos get a lot of flack for this. But hot take, you guys can be a little more unforgiving of the mistakes than Virgos, because Virgos still have a little bit of compassion for themselves. They're very compassionate in general, and they can have some compassion, some certain bit of compassion for themselves. But you guys, oh, mistake. What's a mistake? I don't make mistakes. God forbid you see the mistake, then, ooh, the blame, the shame, the anger. Everything that could illuminate you and help you becomes another reason that you could beat yourself up with about why you don't deserve that top spot. That's what I'm saying. That's why I've been harping on it for 20 minutes. If that was just a given, regardless of how you behave or if you think you're worth it or not, or whether or not you think you're whether or not you measure up and should you even deserve to be in the front of the line, if you just took all that away and took it for granted that you absolutely deserve to be at the front of the line and you need to be there, and we worked off that premise and just left that there and moved from there, you would not stay here. You know that. And there have been so many moments in your life when you have put yourself completely and totally first, and you have been showered with success and abundance, and you know that too. So what's the reason? Why are you so hell-bent on holding on to a delusion that the only part of you it affects is your ego? All you're going to have to come to terms with is that you made a mistake. And in most cases, that mistake was literally just putting other people in front of yourself. That's it. It's not some huge mistake. It's not some ignoble thing. You're trying to be good. But when you conflate being good with putting others in front of you or not choosing yourself, that's not goodness. That's self-destruction. That's cruelty. You wouldn't want anyone else to do that. You wouldn't want anyone else to put you in front of them. Would you? Ha ha! So you see where the problem comes in. Along with owning your place in the line is also giving people the autonomy to have their place in their own line and not be sitting at your feet. We'll talk about that mid-November. Ha ha! And in your Halloween video. I love you.